This sleeping pad costs $30, and this sleeping pad costs $140. That's a $110 difference, making the cheap one look a bit more comfortable. But what's the difference? Well, in today's video, we're gonna compare the differences between a cheap sleeping pad and a premium sleeping pad. Let's get into it. So there's one thing that you really need to understand about sleeping pads, and that is R value. If you're new to sleeping pads, this might be kind of confusing, but I will do my best to explain it to you right now. R value is how warm your sleeping pad is. It's on a scale of 1 to 7, with 1 being the least warm and 7 being the warmest. A sleeping pad with an R value of 2 is considered to be a summer sleeping pad, and that's really the only season that you should use it. Sleeping pads with an R value of 3 to 5 are to be used in the spring, summer, and fall. This is known as a 3-season sleeping pad, where sleeping pads with an R value of 5 to 7 are to be used in the winter months and are considered 4-season sleeping pads. In my opinion, a versatile sleeping pad has an R value of like 4 to 4.5. This way you can use it for most of your backpacking trips aside from the winter. The main key takeaway here is the higher the R value, the warmer the sleeping pad. Here we have the High Hiker sleeping pad. At full price, this only costs $30 on Amazon, which is stupid inexpensive for a sleeping pad. This pad weighs in at only 14.2 ounces, so it's pretty darn lightweight. Rolled up, it measures just about 9 inches long by 3 inches in diameter. All blown up, it measures just about 6 feet 2 inches long by 21 inches wide at the head and 17 inches wide at the foot. It tapers down a little bit towards your feet. It's also about 2 inches thick, but has this pocketed design. It's not just a continuous 2-inch thickness, it's like pockets or bubbles of air. And it only has an R value of 2.1, so you should really only be using this in the summer to maybe the early fall if you want to push it. As a side note, I really had to do some digging to find the R value of this because it's not listed pretty much anywhere. Inside, there's also a repair patch just in case you get any holes while you're out on the trail. I used to use a sleeping pad nearly identical to this one for years, but just from a different brand. It was my dedicated sleeping pad for all my backpacking trips, and it was okay. I did not get great sleep, but I was able to sleep. The issues that I found was that I would just roll off the sleeping pad pretty easily, and I think it's because of that air-pocketed design. This design saves bulk, but at the cost of insulation and comfort. I also don't like how thin it is. It's less than 2 feet wide at the head. I tend to roll around a lot in my sleep, so I would easily roll off the pad. However, this is very fast to inflate. I would always make it like a sort of competition to see how fast I could inflate this pad, and no joke, I on average would only need to spend about 7 breaths to fully inflate this pad. I also did like that I could basically just throw this in my pack and I'm good to go. It's very compact and very lightweight. So the main key takeaways with this is that it is very small and lightweight. It's very easy to pack in and take with you, and it takes hardly any time to inflate. It also only costs $30, which is very affordable for a sleeping pad. But its R value is only 2.1, so it's just a summer sleeping pad. It's also not very wide, and the tapered design and air-pocketed design make this thing uncomfortable. All around, you don't sleep very good on this sleeping pad. And this sleeping pad is the Big Agnes Insulated Air Core Ultra, and this costs $140. Unfortunately, Big Agnes does not make this exact pad anymore. Their Boundary Deluxe Insulated is similar to this, but even more expensive. Right away, the big difference from this is the size, and you can clearly see that for yourself. When rolled up, this measures about 12 inches long by 5.5 inches in diameter. I mean, it's basically double the size and the bulk of the High Hiker sleeping pad. And it weighs in at 2 pounds, 0.7 ounces. So that's over 1 pound heavier than the High Hiker sleeping pad. When this is blown up, it measures 72 inches long, or 6 feet, by 25 inches wide, and it has a rectangular shape so it doesn't taper down at your feet. As a side note, Big Agnes makes several different sizes of their sleeping pads, and since I roll around a lot more in my sleep, this is the wide version with the regular length. It's also 3.5 inches thick with a full air channel design, so it's not just pockets or bubbles of air, it's all filled with air on the inside. And lastly, it has an R value of 4.5, so this is a 3-season sleeping pad. And as the name states, this is the insulated version, so So on the inside there is synthetic insulation along with a heat reflective material to keep you warmer. And on the inside there is included a pump sack and extra patches. So first off, what I don't like is that this is pretty bulky, especially when you put it side by side with this one. You definitely got to be a bit more strategic when you put this in your backpack, plus it weighs over 2 pounds, so it is a bit heavier. It's also kind of a hassle to inflate. I mean, you do get the pump sack to help inflate it, but it just takes longer and it just blows to inflate. Sorry for the bad pun. And when I put this side by side with my girlfriend's sleeping pad in a 2-person tent, this thing takes up a lot of room. I mean, it works just fine, but if you're afraid that you might not have enough space inside your tent with someone else, that might be something to consider. But with all of those drawbacks, the benefits of this sleeping pad make it well worth it. First off, the size and comfort of this thing makes sleeping so much better while backpacking. With this wider rectangular version, I have never rolled off once, and I have room to roll around. It's also much more puffy. I mean, there's 3.5 inches of thickness in the sleeping pad, keeping you off the ground, and plus the air channels run all the way through it. It doesn't have that pocketed or bubble design. And you can actually feel the warmth of this pad while you sleep. You can actually tell that there's insulation underneath you, which is very, very important for keeping you warm at night. And getting a good night's sleep is very important while backpacking. A 20-mile day running on 4 hours of on and off sleep due to using a cheap sleeping pad is going to be pretty brutal, where a full 8 hours of sleep on a nice sleeping pad is going to give you the energy that you need to truly enjoy your backpacking trip. So yes, this Big Agnes Insulated Aircore Ultra is bulkier, it's double the weight, and it's 4 times the price of the High Hiker sleeping pad. But being able to get a good night's sleep while backpacking make your trips much more enjoyable. So in conclusion, I'm not saying that you need to go out and spend $140 on a sleeping pad. That's completely up to you, and there are a ton of options online or in store. Just consider this comparison today and make the best decision for yourself, for your backpacking gear goals, and for your budget. So that's everything I have for you guys today. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you learned something. If you did, please give me a like, as that really does help me out and will hopefully get this video out to even more people who are trying to learn about sleeping pads. Thank you all for watching this video, and I will see you in my next one.